afternoon, Abbotsford residents. I'm Mr. Pelican. I'm running for your Commander-in-Chief, and today I'm not about getting people to be behind me and show anything. I'm here today for one reason and one reason only: to help my farmers, to help the farmers, to help victims. I'm not here to elaborate that Carney and the federal government is responsible for this flood, but to tell you the truth. When Henry Brown took the city to embezzle money and fraud with his family, he was pushing his duties and his neglects of his job away. He saw it as an opportunity to enrich and aid his South, controlling the city of Abbotsford. George Ferguson, the longtime mayor that I knew and was his neighbor, there was always purpose to clean the ditches, and there was a dike and ditch committee set up by the farmers. Henry dismantled it, and he wouldn't let them have a voice. In the 2021 flood, all the water had came in and filled ditches. So you can, when the water subsides here in the ditch, the slurry in the bottom is really high. You can see how close it is. It's not the ditch is 20 feet of water. No. It's 20 feet of mud and 3 inches of water. So when the flood comes from the Nooksack, it leveled the farmers. I showed you this morning how low Barreltown is. The water doesn't got a power to run there because of the ditches haven't been maintained. So the farmers in the flood have suffered massive. We saw rocks on Gladys Avenue, and we saw gravel being hauled in the flood up Barreltown with 120,000 loads of free sand in Mission from Kenny Breach could have went. It was a way to scam and inflate jobs. We had city councils collaborating. We have to make sure that this doesn't go on the federal government. We got to make sure Bruce Bannon gets a slap across the face for trying to prop up shit with Brad Viss, okay? The money is what they're after. The neglect in the city is Ross Siemens' fault. 90% of his time was at the gas station, and that is why I showed residents he was there, and he wasn't paying attention to his duty. Yes, Henry, what do you want me to run, Henry? Yes. So the harm is this: after the 2021 flood, we farmers have lost their chickens and been devastated. That's got to be direct cash in their back pocket. 20,000 acres, or $20,000 an acre of blueberries wiped out again. Garbage all through, disease through here, and unbelievable stuff at the neglect of none other than Ross Siemens. We don't gotta say he's doing his best. He was a failure. And this is why you don't see boots on the ground. But to attack Carney, to attack even David Eby is pathetic. The neglect by the city there's enough evidence now from the last flood to the neglect now to go after Ross and councils for criminal negligence and causing harm and cruelty to animals and endangering the public's life. And this is what we have to do. There was no need for this flood. There was no need because nobody had done anything. So they have to release the studies on the last flood and what they knew was coming. And I could have told you months ago it was coming because Home Depot had brought pumps in and everything. They need to release how much work they have done. They never dredged. But here's the biggest thing. Everybody's protecting Patricia Dreesen, the city council, Dreesen in her perfect sense, even Bruce Bannon. They raised money in the name of the flood victims for the farmers. It could have went in his hands directly, to run their own excavators, to clean their own ditches. And Rob Santiago of Archway took it and bought real estate, and Ross waived his taxes because City Councilor Dreesen was the director. And this is the truth. To ask why doesn't Carney cut a check for Big Ross, Bruce, is wrong. Why ain't Carney seizing Archway's assets and saying that money would have went to flood mitigations directly in the farmer's hand and he could do his own? To blame Donald Trump is bullshit. I showed you the gravel they hauled up Barreltown. That could have went to make sure the water gets everywhere. So this is the incompetence of this. And I'm going to attack Bruce Bannon because you're doing wrong. Go beside the farmers, hear the farmers, and this is just common sense. This shit with Ross Siemens being rent from the back door has to end. Habits for taxpayers. Drive on Gladys, and you look at them rocks, how much you paid, and now we allowed Jakes to go rip you off to put gravel behind them sandbags when them rocks could have did it. This is called double dipping like Dreesen did. I'm live here, Abbotsford, British Columbia.